Just imagine that feeling of having that beautiful girl you've been crushing on, now coming after you. Imagine that feeling of having most of the beautiful girls in your street running around you, competing for your attention. Come on, bro. Stop imagining. Let's make that imagination a reality, because in this video, I'm going to share with you my experiences and what actually worked for me. If you're watching this video, that means you're in one of these categories. 1. You've not been getting girls' attention as you want, and you really want to change that. 2. You want to add to your knowledge about girls to maximize the outcome and benefits. 3. You want to know whether this is one of those motivational channels that talk about the same thing all the time, or if there's something different. Whichever category you fall into, by the end of this video, you're going to learn the practical approach that I used in getting most girls in my street yearning for me. You may have heard many motivational speakers or relationship experts telling you to ignore girls. However, I don't think you should necessarily just ignore girls. Let's look into my own case and see if this applied to me or not. Some months ago, I got an apartment in this new street, which is not as rowdy as the street I moved in from. Given I'm versatile in sports, I started associating well with people, especially guys. While most of them were busy talking about and chasing girls, I focused on my ambition and purpose for life. I was determined to break all odds and create the life that I desired. Though I related well with girls in my street, having occasions of fun and laughter. However, there wasn't anything serious. I didn't know these girls were carefully observing me, watching my actions and inactions. They weren't seeing the money because I was still struggling. They were seeing a man filled with testosterone that's capable of taking calculated risks to get the life he wants. In no time, they started drawing closer and closer. Did I completely ignore girls? I don't think so. And that brings us to our number one point: focusing on yourself and your goals instead of women. Listen, if you're ignoring girls just for the sake of ignoring them, you're a weak man and you will completely lose them. Girls have this natural ability to detect weakness in men. When they see you have no life, no ambition, no purpose, and no future, they leave you without a second thought. No girl will want to be with a stagnant man. Remember, girls are always insecure. They seek financial, emotional, mental, and physical security from a real man. The funny part of it is, if you're ignoring girls just because you've heard many relationship experts telling you to, they will still know, and you will end up losing them. Now, the next 3 things I did, which are going to be the next 3 points, are interconnected. They work hand in hand with each other. Therefore, stay tuned. Getting closer to me, many of them would ask me for different favors for different reasons, and I would be faced with detecting the ones that are coming from the angle of selfishness and saying no to them. Listen, never displease yourself just to please a girl. Let me shock you. There was a day, I took one of these girls out and she ordered something way too expensive compared to my budget for the day. I simply told her to go for something of lesser price, as that is way beyond my budget. And she replied this in the presence of all. "So you mean you can't even afford this?" I grinned and replied, "Well, I can afford that, but I can't afford to spend that kind of money now." Those two are 2 different things. If you know, you know. And if you don't, you can ask me in the comments section. Never eat your seed because you saw others enjoying their harvest. To cut the long story short, after some days, she called me to apologize for what happened the other time. I guess by now, you already know what point number 2 is. Never live beyond your means just because you want to please a girl. Listen, girls will test you knowingly or unknowingly, and it takes a real man to pass those tests. It didn't even end there. Most people that were there when I made that decision, especially the girls, were amazed by the level of confidence I exuded. Then what came next? A question, of course. Who is this guy? You know what it means when girls are asking those kinds of questions. You've already scored an A. Confidence isn't just a trait. It's a superpower that can change the game of attraction. When you exude confidence, you become magnetic. Just imagine what it would have looked like had I failed that test. Now listen, let me tell you something. If you're not confident enough, or you're living beyond your means just to please a girl, she will definitely know. And she will continue to take advantage of that so long as she can, while at the same time falling into the hands of a bad guy. who will continue to take advantage of her so long as he can too. Have you seen the irony of life? After all is said and done, I started getting the attention of more girls. This will lead us to the next point, which is having more female friends. Even the scriptures said it. To him who has more will be given, and to him who has not, even the one he has will be taken away from him. You can also call this the law of abundance. Have you ever experienced this? You're single and girls don't even care if you exist or not. Even the ones you go after keep ignoring you. Now, the moment you get one and decide to commit to a serious relationship, boom, you start seeing other girls trooping in, and you will be asking yourself, where were all these girls while I was single? The same goes for married men, and that is why you see some of them cheat. Some of these girls trooping in may have ulterior motives of displacing the girl in place and taking over. However, that is not the scope of this video. We are only talking about abundance. This applies to every aspect of life. Take for instance, let's say I drop this video now and no one views it for the next 2 days. Anyone coming to YouTube will ignore this video in place of one with thousands of views. The same goes with money. It goes to where there is more. That's why the rich will continue to get richer, while the poor get poorer. Now, taking it back to our topic, the more girls you have, the more girls you will attract. If there's any point you didn't grasp out of the 4 points listed above, or any point that didn't sit well with you, you can bring it up in the comments section. I believe you gained something from watching this video. If you want to grow yourself to be unstoppable, then subscribe to the channel and be part of this wonderful community. Help a friend benefit from what you've just benefited from by giving them the opportunity to watch this video. Remember, we rise by lifting others. We'll meet again in my next video. Till then, goodbye.